it just started raining. Don't know if you can hear that on the mic. You probably won't be able to. So that's just thing. That's just what's happening right now. Cool. Alright. The Room. A special message from Tommy Wiseau to the fans and supporters of The Room in Australia. January 29th, 2010, Los Angeles, California, USA. Hello to all the fans and others of The Room in Australia. Welcome to The Room family. I'm thrilled that we have fans in Australia. It is my pleasure to tell you that I appreciate your support and interest in The Room and in my work. It is my suggestion to you that if you can see The Room at least 5 or more times in the theatre. That's the whole line. I will say to you all, you can laugh, you can cry, you can express yourself, but please don't hurt each other and have fun with The Room. Every time he wrote The Room, it's in caps lock, the whole title. I love you all. Very truly yours, Tommy Wiseau, director, actor. Right. So let's talk about The Room and cult films. I saw this film, The Room, famously known, at the Nova in Australia. As it says on the tagline, screens the first Saturday of every month, late, aka 11 o'clock. Because the place closes at like 1, on a Saturday at least. This is a viewer's guide that comes with it, so pretty much context is how I personally know the movie. I found out about it when I was in maybe year 9, maybe year 10, I think year 10. My mate Ryan showcased the pleasantness of The Room in his room in his house with a whole bunch of other people, including myself and about 5 or 6 others. None of us had ever seen The Room before. All I'd seen was a CinemaSins video of it. So I was kind of with some expectation of what was going to happen, but I really didn't know anything. And it was amazing. And yes, if we could have had booze, we would have gotten fucking hammered. Unfortunately, we never kept up the tradition of watching a bad film every month, or even just watching The Room every month. That would have made for a much more interesting year. But instead we didn't, and then we just kind of moved on and did our own shit. Cut to 2-3 years later, Katie invites me to see The Room at the Nova, and I'd never seen it at the Nova before. I'd only seen it the one time, so I was like, sure, I mean, I don't care much for the film, but sure, I mean, it's bad, but it's funny, but it's, whatever. So we went, sometime last year, I cannot remember for the life of me as to when we went last. It was a few months ago. So it was either in 2017 or it was in 2018. Point being, is that we went there, no expectation of what was going to happen except bring a bag of plastic spoons. So she did. She brought a plastic bags. And we got there, we got in the queue, we bought our tickets online or whatever, because sometimes it sells out. Depends on what month it is. This previous time I went, it did not. But the first time we went, I think it pretty much did. We got there, we got on the big-ass queue, we got to the table where they check your bags, because they want to make sure that what you're going to be throwing at the screen isn't anything that can damage the screen, because it's still their own property or whatever. So that's alright. And they also have these, of course, which they give one to you if you want it, or if you don't have one, or however it be, your first time, whatever. Especially newbies are always like, well, we give you this, and you read it, it gives you instructions, the whole entire movie, and also grab a handful of spoons. They have 2 free buckets worth of plastic spoons, which they usually always collect from the end of most shows. And there's a lot. Throughout this performance, I will be showing you some clips from the movie that I experienced this previous time with Katie. She should be okay with that. I don't know if I'm going to get any copyright stuff from it, so fuck, I don't care. It's the room. And then I will also show an image of the end result with all the spoons on the floor. Or maybe I'll just show it now. I don't know. It will happen at some stage in this video. You go inside and you take your seat. You look through the booklet, and then the movie starts and you play along. Now, in terms of the back, it has the biography of Tommy Wiseau from TommyWiseau.com. And you've got American Conservatory Theatre, San Francisco, physical acting, improv, Shakespearean scene study, commercial study. These are literally all of his workshops. His special skills, outside of all the workshops and action labs and acting stuff he's done, special skills include computer-oriented, business-oriented, playwriting, swimming, soccer, tennis, jogging, modelling, rollerblading, rock climbing, ultra frisbee, and horse riding. Yes. It also has a cool picture of him, you know, doing that. Yay. Ha. Get on, cool. Then it has, like, more of the room on YouTube, and you can just see a whole bunch of different parodies and a rap and early rehearsal footage and, yeah, a trailer. And then, of course, it also advertises Disaster Artist, the book, by Greg Sestero and Tom Bizel. So, yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. All right, so you get an understanding of Tommy's background, where you can see more of it, and the Disaster Artist, which of course became the Oscar-winning movie. I think I don't know what Oscars it won. I think it got Best Performance, but I don't know what else. Maybe Best Screenplay or something. Best Adapted Screenplay. I don't know. I mean, I didn't care much for the film. Like, I enjoyed it the first time I watched it, but then, like, I realized that the cinematography was garbage. The acting wasn't too bad, except for, like, pretty much everyone except for James Franco was pretty boring. And it was just references to the room the whole time, which made everyone laugh. You know, I saw it when Greg Sestero, or Sestero? I think it's Sestero. Who gives a fuck? Because he comes down to Australia every couple of times. He did the Disaster Artist there, and he opened it up, and I saw that, and that was cool. And then he opened, like, the room again after that, like, that following Saturday. I was like, oh, it's the first of the month. It's Greg Sestero. He's doing a special opening for the room. And he does Q&A and whatever. Then he came back again for Best Fiends, Friends, Volume 1 and Volume 2. I only saw Volume 1 because it was awful. I didn't watch Volume 2. And it was very, very limited screening, so I'm like, yeah, nah, fuck Volume 2. Volume 1 was boring as shit. So, yeah, let's get back into the room. So, a viewer's guide to the room. Now, pretty much, these are just telling you what you should expect. So, it's literally, the quote bubble says, what shall I yell at the screen and when? A guide collated from viewer responses in New York, San Francisco, and Melbourne. Spoon. Chapter 1. The Spooning. Nearly all of the artwork in the film features spoons. Whenever a spoon appears on screen, you yell spoon, and hurl plastic spoons at the screen. Most people don't really yell spoon anymore. It's usually just kind of a come up and say, you see the spoon, you throw the spoon. Hence the plastic spoons. And yes, bring as many plastic spoons as you want. It's pretty fun. If you're luckily in some of the front sections, maybe the front section or the front row, you can usually run to the front floor where all the spoons usually land, pick up a bunch of spoons if you run out, and then go back to your seat. Nobody minds. Trust me. You just crouch down, grab as many spoons as you want. It's great fun. Usually, if a scene with the spoons happens whilst you're doing that, you get ambushed by spoons. So that happens. It's not very intimate outside of that. It's pretty much some of the picture frames include a picture of a spoon. Or there's multiple picture frames with pictures of spoons. Nobody knows why. It's just there. So you just throw the spoons. Continuing, in bracket, but remember Tommy's plea not to hurt each other. So, do not hurt each other. Sometimes you have people throw spoons and they land on you. Usually it's an accident. Usually. If you're near the front, you'll find that as you throw a handful of spoons, another handful will fall in your lap. It's like being part of a plastic cutlery summonation. Sure. Remember, as the film trudges on, people start throwing spoons out of boredom, even if the scenes don't require it. So yeah, that happens. I've done that before, where I've just been like, fuck it, you said a famous line, spoon. It happens. Because some of the parts get boring, because it's repetitive.
Why are you so wild? Please talk to me, please! Please talk to me! You're part of my life, everything. I could not go on without you, Lisa. You're lying, I never hit you. You're tearing me apart, Lisa!
Section 2. Testosterone. Pronounced testosterone. You can pretty much yell it anytime Greg Sestero as Mark is on screen. Remember, it is particularly fitting when he's about to be manly about something. I've never heard anyone call this out before. Now, not everything here is remembered, but most of these are pretty remembered, so I've never heard testosterone before. Cancer! Lisa's mother alludes to having it once and then never mentions it again. I got the results back. I definitely have breast cancer.
Everything goes wrong at once. Nobody wants to help me. And I'm dying. I'm not dying. I got the results of the test back.
I definitely got breast cancer. Die happily!
I'm sure I'll be all right. I heard.
It's my favorite line in the whole entire movie. Remember when she touches Lisa on the nose, which she does like 6 times, you can shout, "I put my evil inside you." It's pretty great. It's my favorite part of the whole entire movie, every single time. Denny! Not Danny, Denny. I always get it confused. Denny! So used to herald the arrival of the tragic kid adult, who's actually 27 when they filmed it, and apparently he's meant to be like a kid. Like, I don't know how old he is. Is he 12? Is he 16? I don't know. At one part he gets involved with drugs, and nobody knows how old he is. Like, there's so many parts where he just wants to jump in with Tommy and Lisa having sex, and people are just, and they're like, "No, you're a kid, you can't do that." It's like, go away, freeze the crowd. And it's like, you're 27. What are you doing? Especially when they say, like, oh, you know, like, Tommy's like a father to Denny, and like, oh, Tommy wants to adopt Denny. It's like, but he's 27. So that's the thing. And yes, every time he does leave the scene, you're allowed to shout, "Goodbye, Denny." So usually it's just saying, "Denny's here, Denny's back, yay, Denny. I love Denny. Denny is the best. Yeah. Moving on. 1, 2, 3, aka counting. Mark alludes to being Johnny's best friend throughout the movie. The number can be uncertain because whenever he alludes to it, everyone yells about the number they think it is. I don't think I've ever heard that one in the cinema before. Mark's my best friend. Oh, because I guess it's a periodic thing. It goes over the period of the film. I've never really heard that one either. That's one I've never really listened out for. It could still happen. I've just never listened for it. Focus. Unfocus. The film constantly goes in and out of focus. Whenever the film goes out of focus, people shout, "Focus." Of course, when it does come back into focus during a sex scene, yes, it is necessary to shout, "Oh God, unfocus." Remember, Todd Barron is the director of photography, so you can also shout, "God damn it, Todd Barron," or "Damn you, Todd Barron," when his credit pops up on screen. So, of course, when you have the opening credits that says Director of Photography, Todd Barron, you say, "God damn it, Todd Barron," or "Damn you, Todd Barron." Usually, "Damn you, Todd Barron." Shoot her! Yelled during Lisa's protracted neck twitch scene. It's a reference to the opening of Jurassic Park, which actually I accidentally just literally quoted the reference itself in the way that you're meant to. Also appropriate, Quaid get to the reactor said by Mutant in Total Recall. So apparently she has a neck twist in one of the twitch in one of the scenes. I don't recall it. I know I've seen it before, maybe twice. I don't recall it at all. I definitely didn't remember it during the last time I saw it this previous Saturday. It's 'Cause You're a Woman. This one was my favourite one from this past weekend. To be yelled after anything that regards a female character. Started off as a dig at the film's casual misogyny. There are half a dozen places where it works. And you can put it anywhere when you really think about it. But quickly spiraled into a non sequitur that can be dumped after anything. Remember, it is the Room equivalent of adding in bed to a fortune cookie. Fortune. Cool. Oh yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty good. Like, most people just say, it's 'cause you're a woman, you know. Of course, just for the joke. It's pretty fun. Then we have Alcatraz. For Alcatraz, or any on-screen, anytime an on-screen pair of, like, a bars is shown on screen. So literally they show the actual Alcatraz prison at least 5 times in the film. And everyone just goes, Alcatraz! Also during a couple of the sex scenes, actually one of the sex scenes on the stairs with Mark and Lisa, and just pretty much whenever someone's on the stairs, the spiral staircase, because it's just bars, so whenever the shot is just bars with the person behind it, you just say Alcatraz. It's a very weird one, but it makes sense because Alcatraz is a prison. I don't really think I need to explain that one, but it's kind of obvious. Then we have go, 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 go. This happens at least 3 times in the movie. Chant during the tracking shot of San Francisco's Golden Gate Bridge. Remember, celebrate when it makes all the way across, and be sure to express your disappointment when it doesn't. It gets fully across twice, and I think it fails twice at the same time. So yeah, it's pretty good. And usually you forget, because it just keeps on going, and then sometimes it will just stop randomly. Everywhere you look, sung. To be sung over the houses that look like the ones from the TV sitcom Full House. This is one I've never heard before. Probably because I've never watched Full House. And also because I just keep forgetting that one's actually a thing. So moving on. Meanwhile, back in San Francisco, whenever a shot uses iconography of the city to verify that, phew, yes, the film's storyline has not suddenly left San Francisco. Another one I haven't heard too much, mainly because the next one... Well, no, actually, no, it isn't. Okay, so that one's kind of been replaced more with, where are we? Instead of it being Meanwhile Back in San Francisco, because Meanwhile Back in San Francisco is kind of a dull thing, and a lot to remember. Whereas there cuts to random ass shots of the city, and you're just like, where are we? Where are we? So you go over the top, it's pretty great. And the last one, of course, for this section is, who the fuck are you? At one point, 2 characters will show up in Tommy's apartment. They will be fucking. They do. It's got the crazy blowjob face. No one will know who they are, thus it is appropriate to shout this when they appear on screen. Remember, it is also appropriate to shout when the actor playing Peter, the psychologist, you'll recognize him because he's wearing the glasses, when he disappears, only to be replaced by another actor who looks nothing like him and just suddenly is apparently important in the film. A lot of the time, if it's any character who isn't Danny, Mark, Tommy, Lisa, or the mother, you're just like, who the fuck are you? And that's just all the names. Yeah. What other activities can I enjoy during the room? Say hi to Johnny when he appears to look down at the corner of the screen during the party scene. Remember, this entails running down to the screen, hanging out towards the bottom right-hand corner, and then shouting when his eyes acknowledge you. There is one shot where he looks directly at the corner, and yes, Katie and I ran to the front with about 4 other people, waited and waited and waited, and then he did it. And I think we missed it by a few seconds, but at the same time we still all said hi. It was just kind of more awkward because we weren't prepared, because there was 4 other people there and we didn't know them. I was just like, okay, cool. At the end we were just like, good job everyone, we did it. And then we all sat back down and watched the rest of the movie. As Denny eats the apple, which might be the most heavy-handed and irrelevant action in the film, shout, metaphor. that also works if someone's eating a piece of cake, because it's all a metaphor, apparently. This video is going for a while. Seriously, just what the hell is eating the apple supposed to signify? That Denny is giving it into temptation? What temptation? What the hell does Denny giving into temptation have to do with absolutely anything? Who fucking cares? It's a metaphor. Next up, we have Johnny's deranged giggle. When he delivers at inappropriate moments, he beat her up so bad she wound up in a hospital on Guerrero Street. Ha 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 ha. Should be mocked mercilessly. It's not really one I've heard a lot, but it's kind of like, dude, what the fuck? Like, that's pretty much the best response I've heard from that. Because that is a very weird scene. The 7th inning stretch is the longest of the film's gratuitous sex scenes. This is where you mock walk out in disgust, room pros know it's coming, and beat the traffic. I don't think I've ever noticed anyone doing this. I think I've sat too close to the screen before, so I've never really noticed anyone doing it. Instead, I've got a kind of great story instead, where this previous time we went, there was a group of 5 people, 2 girls and 3 guys. 2 of them were dressed as Johnny, one of them being the girl. 2 of them were dressed as Mark, and the other girl was dressed up as Lisa with a blonde wig and a red dress and everything. It's pretty great. And what 3 of the guys, maybe 2 of the guys did, was they got out their phones and during the first sex scene started singing to the music that was playing. They had all the lyrics on their phones. They were prepared. They were pros, and it was great. It was a wonderful, wonderful occasion, and it's deeply in my mind forever and ever and ever. So it's great. Moving on. Okay, so that thing I just mentioned is literally the next part, called "Singing Along to You Are My Rose." And lifting one's phone and swaying to the music. So I'm very sure You Are My Rose is the song that plays during the sex scenes. And that was just what they were singing. I could never catch the lyrics that they were singing because I was laughing too hard. Chanting "Yes We Can" after Tommy's speech about if everybody loved each other, the world would be a better place. I like to think that's one of those rare moments where irony and sincerity collide, neither quite dominating the other. I didn't say that, this person did. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever heard the "Yes We Can," but I mean, it's possible. It's more than likely. And last but not least, being open about one's revulsion during any of the sex scenes. Notice how it looks like Johnny is screwing her belly button? Also appropriate. Yeah, you're doing it wrong. And that is Cult Night at the Room. It's always a joy to go and see the room, and I'm not actually going to light that on fire. That would be bad. Like, this is not a well ventilated room, so that's like a bad idea. Yeah, no, it's fun. If you ever get to see a room, I definitely suggest, if you've never watched it before, watch it with friends, and then if you've never watched it, if you're watching it for a second time, watch it with the same friends, and then just only ever watch it with the same friends, or just slowly introduce more friends to it. Just make it your own thing. It's great. It's a wonderful treasure. And it being one of those greatest, like, cult movies of all times thing, it probably is the greatest cult movie. I mean, Rocky Horror Picture Show is actually really good, so, and that one has they got a great performance that plays with it, like, people dress up in the costumes and dance up front. It's pretty great. Yeah, so, you know, there's that. That's about it. So, like, share, and subscribe, and whatever. And, bye.
Australia says no!
Hi.
Can I help you?
Yeah, can I have a dozen red roses, please?
Oh, hi, Johnny. I didn't know it was you.
That's me. How much is it?
It's gonna be $18.
Go, keep the change. Hi, Dorothy.
Hi, Tony!